Hey Hedgehogs, it's Paul Scheider. Welcome. Today I'm going to show you a very important aspect of putting together your bug out bag and one of the items specifically that's in it. And what I'm talking about is parachute cord. And many of you that are survivalists out there know the importance of parachute cord and how versatile it can be in so many different applications of what you would need it for out in the wild. But that's not exactly what I'm going to talk about. What I'm going to talk about today is management of your parachute cord. Because if you're anything like me, before I had a system for this, what I would do is I'd throw like a 100-foot bundle into my bug out bag, and then when I was out on any given excursion, I would just take that 100-foot length out and cut off segments as I needed them that were, custom to the task that was at hand. So the result was I would end up with all these varying lengths of cordage, and they wouldn't be organized, so I just throw them back in my bag in a compartment somewhere, and then at the next campsite or the next place I was stopping, I'd pull it out and I'd have this huge tangled mess of parachute cord, and it just kept happening like that trip after trip after trip. And on top of it, having all the different lengths of cordage made it very confusing to figure out exactly which piece I needed for any given task. Well, the good news is I have come up with a system for managing parachute cord. So far, for me, it has worked excellently well. It allows me to identify exactly what length I need, and I can even find it in total darkness if I didn't have any light whatsoever to guide me through my pack. So stay tuned. That's what I'm going to show you right now. So first off, let's talk a little bit about the theory that is behind this system. One of the things that I noticed when I was untangling my big knotted mess of parachute cord was that most of the lengths ended up being either short lengths of cordage or medium lengths of cordage. And so what I did when I went to build the system is I made all of my pieces of parachute cord either 5 feet or 10 feet in length, and I also color coded them. So in my case, the black is the 5-foot length and the brown is the 10-foot length. And if I happen to need cordage that's going to be longer than either of these, it's very easy to tie the two together. And on top of that, having them color coded makes it very easy to distinguish which one I need when I just need to get one piece of cordage out and separate it from the group. Now, as you probably know, one of the most important things you can do in wilderness survival is conserve calories and not waste your precious time and energy. And having a big tangled mess of cordage is most definitely a waste of time and energy. There is something really simple you can do to prevent ever having a bad knot to untie. And what I have found is that the very worst knots are the ones where the end of the piece of cordage somehow gets tangled into the main bundle, and it creates a very messy situation. The easy way to prevent that is to take your two ends of cordage and put them together side by side, and then you tie a very simple overhand knot to join the two together. And what this does is it creates one big loop of cordage. And when you have a big loop of cordage like this, you cannot have your ends get tangled into the main bundle. And if somehow this does get tangled up, the knot that you're going to untie is going to be far more simple and much faster to do. Once you have your lengths of parachute cord joined into loops like I just showed you, the next thing to do is isolate each individual bundle, because you're going to be storing them all together and you want each one of them to be pretty self-contained. So the way you do that is you take the loop that you made and you pull it out until it's taut like this with the knot at one end and just a bite of cordage at the other, and then you fold it in half once for a 5-foot length, and then you tie an overhand knot right in the middle of it, just like this. What that does is it gives you a nice loop. It's all self-contained, and you still have your ends tied together so that it can't get tangled. And I do the same thing with the 10-foot length. The only difference is that this time I fold it over 2 times, just like this, till I get it down to a workable size, and then tie the overhand knot right in the middle of the bundle. And again, the result is a very self-contained bundle of cordage that's tangle-free. and very easy to get undone as well. So this is the part where the beauty of the system really starts to come to life. Right now I've got 10 10-foot lengths of cordage and 10 5-foot lengths of cordage, and that's what I throw as standard in my bug out bag. I've got them all made up into individual bundles, so they're all tangle free, and I don't really have to worry about any of this becoming a knotted mess, even though it's all bundled together like this. But what I want to do is join all of these together in a way that's very organized and very efficient, so that I can easily get off whatever length I need to get, and also so that if I pull this out of my backpack, I'm not going to accidentally lose one of these bundles in the woods somewhere. And the way to do that is to make a system for holding it all together, and it's very, very simple. What you're going to do is get 2 separate lengths of cordage. You can color code these a different color if you want to, and these are about 1.5 feet in length or 2 feet. And what you're going to do is you lay them side by side, and then you're going to tie an overhand knot again, just like we've done during previous moments in this video. And you're going to make sure that that overhand knot ends up in the exact dead middle of these strands. And if you do it properly, you'll have kind of an X shape where the knot is in the center, and then you'll have an even length of cordage going off in each of the 4 strands. Once you have your X-shaped piece of cordage tied up, putting the system together is very, very easy to do. First, you're just going to grab any one of the 4 strands. It does not matter which one it is. And then you grab a bundle and you pass that length through the loops at the top of the bundle. And then you just keep doing this for all the bundles that you have. And in my case, I've got 10 10-foot lengths, as I mentioned, and 10 5-foot lengths for 150 feet total of cordage. And as I go, I just hold these all together, loop every single bundle on through, and then once I have all of them together like that, they lay out very neatly and very organized like this. Then I take one of the neighboring strands, again, it really doesn't matter which one, put the 2 together like this, just like I did before, and again, tie another overhand knot. What that does is it secures all of those bundles right there together in a way that's very, very organized. And now, no matter where this goes, it's not going to get tangled, and if I pull this out of my backpack, I don't have to worry about one of these bundles falling off and blending in with the leaf litter that's on the forest floor. I'm absolutely sure it's not going to happen. So then what I do is I take another one of the free strands and I start going ahead and looping all the shorter lengths, all of my 5-foot lengths onto here, exactly the same as I did before. And again, once I have all that in place, just one bundle. Once I have all that in place, I do the same thing where I get the neighboring strand of cordage, put the ends together, tie another overhand knot, and now I have a completed cordage system where all of my cordage is together, but they're separated both by organization system with a knot, and they're separated by color coding. Now that we have the completed cordage management system, the only thing left to do is to use it, which is also very easy. And in this case, let's pretend I want one of my 10-foot bundles here. All I'm going to do is go to that side and untie the knot that holds the 10-foot bundles together. Grab one off, set it aside, retie the knot, and now my cordage management system is good to go. Again, it's self-contained and organized. Then I've got my individual bundle here, and just going in reverse order, I'm going to untie the knot that holds all of it together, drop it out. I've got a loop now. I'm going to untie the overhand knot that holds that together, and then I've got a 10-foot length of cordage that is ready to deploy to whatever task that I may have at hand. And the other nice thing about this system is that if you're setting up a semi-permanent camp for, you know, a night or a couple of nights, you can hang your gear up on a tree, and this is very friendly to that method. You can just put it over a little protruding limb, and that way you have all of your cordage in one place. You can just walk up to the tree when you need a bundle, and you don't have to mess with putting this into your bug out bag and taking it out of your bug out bag all the time. And I think it's worth mentioning that doing all these little tiny extra things in order to manage your stuff and keep it organized is really worth the effort relative to the amount of frustration and precious time and calories that you could be wasting if you end up with a big tangled mess of cordage. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned a little bit about an item that I think would make an excellent addition to your bug out bag. And if you've enjoyed this video, there is a ton more information on wilderness survival skills. It is all on the website at hedgehogleatherworks.com. Be sure to check it out because there is a wealth of information there. Until next time, I appreciate you watching. I'm Paul Scheider from Hedgehog Leatherworks, and I'll talk to you soon.